The Carter family owned half of California's tech industry. Their headquarters towered over downtown San Francisco. Their name appeared on hospitals, universities, and luxury resorts stretching from Silicon Valley to Malibu. Every financial magazine called them America's first family of innovation. I wasn't supposed to belong there. My mother had been the Carter family's private chef for nearly 15 years before she died saving Eleanor Carter during a devastating yacht accident off Catalina Island. As the waves swallowed the deck, my mother pushed Eleanor onto a rescue boat. And never made it herself. Standing beside her hospital bed hours later, Eleanor held my mother's trembling hand. "I swear," she whispered through tears. "Your daughter will never be alone again." My mother smiled weakly. "Take care of Ava." "I will. And if one day, she falls in love with one of your sons." Eleanor nodded before she could even finish. "If they both choose each other freely, I'll welcome Ava as my own daughter." Those were my mother's last moments. I was only 6 years old. From that day forward, the Carter estate became my home. People envied my life. Private schools. Designer clothes. Vacations in Aspen and Maui. Birthday parties that looked like movie premieres. But none of those things mattered as much as Ethan and Logan Carter. The Carter twins. Although they looked nearly identical, nobody ever confused them. Ethan was calm. Reserved. Every word carefully chosen. Logan was reckless. He surfed dangerous waves before breakfast and raced sports cars through Pacific Coast Highway at midnight. Growing up, they protected me from everything. Bullies. Reporters. Greedy relatives. Whenever another branch of the Carter family mocked me for being the chef's daughter, Logan always threw the first punch. Ethan handled the consequences afterward. Everyone believed we would someday become family. Including me. Until today. The Carter mansion overlooked Malibu Beach. Crystal chandeliers reflected the afternoon sun while dozens of influential guests filled the ballroom. Board members. Investors. Family friends. Everyone had gathered for one announcement. Eleanor Carter smiled warmly. "Ava." Every conversation stopped. She reached for my hand. "You've turned 23. Her voice was gentle. "The promise I made to your mother deserves its conclusion." She looked toward her sons. "Ethan. Logan. You've all had years to grow together." She squeezed my fingers. "Today, Ava will choose the man she wishes to spend her future with." Silence. Every pair of eyes landed on me. Even television cameras waited outside the estate gates. The decision wasn't simply romantic. Whoever married me would eventually inherit voting shares Eleanor had quietly transferred into my trust years ago. This marriage would influence the future leadership of Carter Technologies. My heartbeat became painfully loud. I looked at Ethan. Then Logan. How could anyone choose between the two people who had protected them since childhood? The words refused to come. Maybe we could draw lots. Or flip a coin. Before I could speak, bright blue text suddenly appeared in front of my eyes. Seriously? Why is this side character pretending it's a difficult decision? Neither brother actually loves her. They've been trapped by Eleanor's promise for years. I froze. More glowing comments flooded across my vision. Poor Ethan has secretly dated Chloe for months. Logan only stays because he refuses to abandon his brother. Ava is literally the obstacle before the real love story begins. Thankfully, she dies after childbirth in the original ending. Otherwise, the twins would never be free. My breathing stopped. Original ending? Side character? I blinked rapidly. The glowing words remained exactly where they were. No one else reacted. Could only I see them? Another comment appeared. She honestly thinks the Carter brothers adore her. That's embarrassing. A cold shiver crawled down my spine. Impossible. Ethan and Logan cared about me. Didn't they? We had shared birthdays, Christmas mornings, summer road trips, college graduations, entire childhoods. None of that could have been fake. Slowly, I raised my eyes toward the twins. Logan met my gaze first. For only half a second. I saw it. Relief. Not love. Relief that I still hadn't chosen. As if every passing second delayed an execution. Then he looked away. Ethan was harder to read. His expression remained composed. Perfect. Until his jaw tightened almost invisibly. Anyone else would have missed it. I didn't. The comments hadn't lied. They didn't want this marriage. Ava? Eleanor smiled patiently. It's all right. Take your time. Fresh comments exploded before me. She's definitely choosing Ethan like the original timeline. Then he'll ignore her for years while secretly meeting Chloe in San Francisco. She'll convince herself he's busy running the company. Girl, wake up. My chest tightened. Ethan. Meeting another woman? Secretly? No. That couldn't be real. Another comment followed immediately. Logan even pretends to be Ethan twice just to help Chloe sneak around paparazzi. These brothers are completely hopeless. I stared at the floating words. Logan hated being compared to Ethan. Always had. Would he really pretend to be his own brother? For another woman? Ava? Eleanor asked again. Sweetheart? Everyone waited. I could barely hear anything over the pounding in my chest. The comments kept multiplying. Don't waste everyone's time. The twins deserve Chloe. The chef's daughter should know her place. The last sentence felt like someone had slapped me across the face. Not because of me. Because of my mother. I swallowed hard. Then quietly asked. May I choose neither? The ballroom fell into stunned silence. Even the ocean waves crashing against the cliffs outside seemed quieter. Eleanor Carter blinked in surprise. Neither? Her voice remained soft, but confusion flickered across her face. Ava, why? She stepped closer and gently held my hands. My dear, you don't have to worry about hurting either of them. Logan and Ethan understand how difficult this choice is. I looked down. If only she knew. The glowing comments immediately returned. Look at her trying to escape now. Too late. She spent years enjoying the Carter family's money. Now she's pretending to be noble? Another comment appeared. She'll still marry Ethan. That's how the story always goes. Story. That word echoed inside my mind. If these comments were telling the truth, then everything around me had already been written. Including my death. A chill spread through my body. No. I refused to become someone else's tragic ending. I slowly lifted my head. I don't think. My voice trembled. I should marry either of them. The room exploded with whispers. Logan frowned immediately. What are you talking about? His usual confident smile had disappeared. Ethan narrowed his eyes. This isn't funny. Funny? Did he honestly think I was joking? I met his gaze. For years, I believed this was what all three of us wanted. I smiled sadly. But people change. Neither brother answered. Instead, the floating comments filled my vision again. Finally, she noticed. Run, Ava. Don't marry either of them. Wait. Those comments were different. Not cruel. Almost. Supportive. More messages appeared. Forget the twins. Look behind Eleanor. The only man who has loved you without asking for anything is standing right there. My heart skipped. Behind Eleanor? Without thinking, I slowly raised my eyes. Near the panoramic windows overlooking the Pacific Ocean stood a tall man dressed in a charcoal gray suit. Nathan Sterling. The youngest billionaire on Carter Technologies' board. 38. Calm. Quiet. Dangerously intelligent. Unlike everyone else in the room, he wasn't whispering. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't watching the twins. He was watching me. His dark eyes held an emotion I couldn't quite understand. Regret. Concern. Something deeper. Another glowing comment appeared. There he is. The man who stayed away because he thought he was too old for her. He loved her for years but refused to interfere with Eleanor's promise. My pulse quickened. Nathan? Impossible. He barely spoke during family gatherings. Whenever we met, he simply asked whether I was enjoying university or wished me luck before another charity event. Nothing more. Was all of that an act? Ava. Logan's impatient voice interrupted my thoughts. If you're not choosing Ethan. His jaw tightened. Then choose me. The room froze. Even Ethan turned toward his brother. Logan continued. We've known each other our whole lives. His smile returned. Forced. We'll make it work. The comments immediately laughed. Liar. He spent last weekend in Napa with Chloe. I looked at Logan. For the first time. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Ethan. I turned toward the older twin. He spoke much more quietly. If this is because you're nervous. We don't need to announce anything today. His words sounded considerate. But another comment appeared. Translation, give me more time to hide my relationship. My stomach twisted. Everything they said. Everything the comments revealed. Matched the tiny expressions I had ignored for years. The late-night business trips. The canceled dinners. The distracted conversations. Had Chloe been there all along? Eleanor sighed softly. My dear. If there is someone else. You can tell me. The ballroom became completely silent again. Someone else. Was there? The comments answered before I could. Yes. Tell them. Nathan Sterling. I swallowed. Impossible. How could I confess feelings I wasn't even sure existed? Then another message floated across my vision. He already made his decision years ago. He just never believed he deserved the chance to tell you. I looked toward Nathan again. He hadn't moved. Yet something about his expression had changed. Almost. Hope. Very small. Almost invisible. As though he was desperately trying not to expect anything. Suddenly. A bright voice interrupted the silence. Oh. Everyone turned. A beautiful young woman wearing an elegant cream-colored dress stepped forward with an innocent smile. Chloe Bennett. The daughter of one of Carter Technologies' largest investors. She covered her mouth dramatically. Ava. I hope you don't misunderstand. She looked toward Nathan. But you don't actually have feelings for Mr. Sterling. Do you? The ballroom gasped. Logan's head snapped toward me. Ethan's calm expression finally cracked. Nathan slowly lifted his eyes. For the first time. The usually unreadable billionaire looked genuinely shocked. Meanwhile. The glowing comments exploded across my vision. She did it. Chloe just forced the truth into the open. Say his name, Ava. Choose freedom instead of fate. The entire story changes if you do. Every conversation in the ballroom died instantly. Even the photographers outside the glass walls seemed to disappear beneath the roaring silence. Chloe's innocent smile remained perfectly in place. She tilted her head. Oh, did I say something inappropriate? Anyone who didn't know her would have believed she was simply curious. But now, after reading the floating comments, I noticed it. The satisfaction hidden behind her eyes. She wanted this. She wanted everyone to laugh at me. She wanted Nathan Sterling to reject me in front of the entire Carter family. The comments flashed again. She planned this. She thinks Nathan will deny everything. Then Ava will have nowhere to run. I took a slow breath. For years, I had always remained silent. Not today. I looked directly at Chloe. You seem very interested in my answer. Her smile stiffened for a fraction of a second. I was only surprised. You've known Ethan and Logan your entire life. I assumed you would choose one of them. Another comment appeared. She's terrified. If Ava walks away, Chloe loses the excuse that the twins are trapped by family duty. Logan suddenly stepped forward. This has gone far enough. His voice carried across the ballroom. Ava doesn't owe anyone an explanation. For a brief moment, my heart almost softened. Then another glowing comment interrupted. He's protecting Chloe, not you. He wants this conversation to end before anyone starts asking questions. The warmth inside me disappeared. Ethan adjusted his cufflinks, remaining unusually calm. Mother, I believe we should continue this discussion privately. Again. Trying to delay. Trying to escape. Trying to avoid the truth. Eleanor looked between the three of us with growing concern. Ava. She squeezed my hand gently. If someone has pressured you, you only need to tell me. No one pressured me. I smiled sadly. I simply realized something. What? Logan asked immediately. I looked at him. You both seemed relieved. Neither brother answered. When I hesitated. You weren't hoping I would choose you. You were hoping I wouldn't choose at all. Silence. Complete silence. Logan laughed awkwardly. You're imagining things. Am I? The comments responded before I could. He looked away because he was scared she'd say his name. I stared at Logan. You couldn't even look at me. His smile faded. Ethan spoke next. Ava. You've misunderstood. Then explain. Neither twin moved. Neither twin answered. The silence became heavier than any confession. Across the room, Nathan Sterling quietly set down the glass of sparkling water he had been holding. His expression remained calm. But his eyes never left mine. Another glowing message appeared. He's waiting. Not because he expects you to choose him. Because he'll support whatever choice you make. Something inside me shifted. For the first time all afternoon, I felt safe. Not protected. Safe. There was a difference. Chloe suddenly laughed. Honestly, I think everyone is making this much more dramatic than necessary. She walked toward me with graceful confidence. Ava. Everyone knows Ethan and Logan care about you. They're practically family. She smiled sweetly. Sometimes we mistake gratitude for love. The comments exploded. Listen to her. She's telling Ava her feelings aren't real while secretly dating both brothers. I finally understood. Every kind smile. Every comforting word. Every apology. It had never been kindness. It had been strategy. I looked directly into Chloe's eyes. You're right. Her smile brightened. I probably did mistake something. Relief crossed Ethan's face. Logan quietly exhaled. Then I finished my sentence. I mistook loyalty for love. The relief vanished instantly. Ethan's fingers tightened. Logan stared at me, confused. No one should marry someone who already belongs somewhere else. The room erupted with whispers. Chloe's face turned pale. What do you mean? I slowly turned away from her. Instead, I looked toward the man standing quietly near the windows. Nathan Sterling. For years, he had never interrupted my life. Never demanded my attention. Never asked me to choose. He simply watched. Waited. Respected every boundary. The comments became brighter than ever. Say his name. This is the moment the story changes forever. Nathan seemed almost ready to leave. As if he believed staying any longer would only create more rumors. He turned slightly toward the exit. Without thinking, I called after him. Mr. Sterling. He stopped. The ballroom became so quiet that I could hear the waves crashing hundreds of feet below the cliffs. Nathan slowly turned around. Our eyes met. His expression held no expectation. Only concern. Only patience. I walked across the ballroom. Every step felt lighter than the last. Gasps echoed behind me. Logan whispered. Ava? Ethan didn't move at all. When I finally stopped in front of Nathan, I smiled. A real smile. The first one I'd felt all day. I've spent years trying to choose between two futures that were never really mine. Nathan remained silent. So today, I'd like to choose my own. His breathing almost stopped. I could see it. The smallest crack in the composure that had made him one of California's most feared businessmen. My choice, I said softly, is you. The entire ballroom froze. No one breathed. No one spoke. Then Nathan Sterling smiled. And for the first time, the man known across Silicon Valley as the most unshakable CEO in America looked completely speechless. The silence lasted only 3 seconds. Then chaos erupted. Absolutely not. Logan's voice thundered through the ballroom. You can't be serious. He crossed the room in long strides until he stood between Nathan and me. Ava, look at me. This isn't funny. I calmly met his furious eyes. I've never been more serious. No. He shook his head. You're only doing this because you're upset. You'll regret it tomorrow. Nathan finally spoke. Logan. His voice was quiet. But everyone heard it. Step away. Logan laughed bitterly. You've known her since she was a child. You expect us to believe you've suddenly fallen in love? Nathan didn't react. I never said suddenly. Those 4 words changed everything. The room became silent again. Ethan slowly lifted his head. What? Nathan looked directly at Eleanor. I intended to remain silent forever. Because I respected the promise you made to Ava's mother. I had no right to interfere. He turned toward me. But today, she made her own choice. And now, I won't insult that choice by pretending I feel nothing. The comments exploded. Yes. Finally. The California King has spoken. Logan stared at Nathan as if he had never seen him before. You planned this. Nathan answered immediately. No. If Ava had chosen either of you today, I would have congratulated you. I had already accepted that possibility years ago. Another glowing message appeared. That's why he's different. He never tried to win. He only wanted her to be happy. For the first time that afternoon, I felt tears forming. Not because I was sad. Because someone had finally placed my happiness above their own. Eleanor slowly sat down. This, she whispered. I never noticed. Nathan smiled faintly. I made sure you wouldn't. The older members of the Carter family exchanged surprised looks. One elderly board member finally spoke. I always wondered why Nathan refused every blind date we arranged. Another laughed softly. So that's why. Nathan ignored them. His attention remained entirely on me. I don't expect an answer today. I don't expect anything. You deserve time. You deserve freedom. If, after today, you decide you never wish to see me again, I'll respect that as well. Every word sounded sincere. No conditions. No pressure. No guilt. Just respect. The comments flooded my vision once more. Compare this to the twins. Notice the difference. I did. For years, Ethan and Logan had always decided what was best for me. Nathan simply asked what I wanted. That difference suddenly felt enormous. But before anyone could speak again, a sharp voice echoed across the ballroom. He's lying. Everyone turned. Chloe stepped forward. Her sweet smile had disappeared completely. You've manipulated Ava. Nathan didn't even look at her. I haven't. You've been waiting for this. I have. The honesty caught everyone off guard. I waited. But I never asked for it. Chloe's confidence cracked. You expect us to believe that? She looked desperately toward Ethan. Say something. Ethan remained silent. She turned to Logan. You know this isn't right. Logan didn't answer either. Instead, both brothers were staring at me. Not Nathan. Me. Almost as if they were seeing me for the first time. Another glowing comment floated across my vision. Uh-oh. The original timeline just broke. Another appeared. Something's changing. The twins weren't supposed to lose her. Logan suddenly stepped forward. Ava. His voice had lost its anger. If I told you not to do this, would you listen? I looked at him quietly. Would you have listened if I begged you not to love someone else? His face went completely pale. What? What are you talking about? I smiled sadly. I know about Chloe. The room froze. Every eye turned toward Chloe. She instinctively took one step backward. Ethan's calm expression finally shattered. Ava. Who told you that? I didn't answer. Instead, I asked a simple question. Ethan. Where were you last Thursday night? His breathing stopped. No answer. I turned toward Logan. And where were you on Saturday? His eyes widened. Neither brother spoke. The silence itself became an admission. The floating comments practically covered my entire vision. The silence lasted only 3 seconds. Then chaos erupted. Absolutely not. Logan's voice thundered through the ballroom. You can't be serious. He crossed the room in long strides until he stood between Nathan and me. Ava, look at me. This isn't funny. I calmly met his furious eyes. I've never been more serious. No. He shook his head. You're only doing this because you're upset. You'll regret it tomorrow. Nathan finally spoke. Logan. His voice was quiet. But everyone heard it. Step away. Logan laughed bitterly. You've known her since she was a child. You expect us to believe you've suddenly fallen in love? Nathan didn't react. I never said suddenly. Those 4 words changed everything. The room became silent again. Ethan slowly lifted his head. What? Nathan looked directly at Eleanor. I intended to remain silent forever. Because I respected the promise you made to Ava's mother. I had no right to interfere. He turned toward me. But today. She made her own choice. And now. I won't insult that choice by pretending I feel nothing. The comments exploded. Yes. Finally. The California King has spoken. Logan stared at Nathan as if he had never seen him before. You planned this. Nathan answered immediately. No. If Ava had chosen either of you today, I would have congratulated you. I had already accepted that possibility years ago. Another glowing message appeared. That's why he's different. He never tried to win. He only wanted her to be happy. For the first time that afternoon, I felt tears forming. Not because I was sad. Because someone had finally placed my happiness above their own. Eleanor slowly sat down. This. She whispered. I never noticed. Nathan smiled faintly. I made sure you wouldn't. The older members of the Carter family exchanged surprised looks. One elderly board member finally spoke. I always wondered why Nathan refused every blind date we arranged. Another laughed softly. So that's why. Nathan ignored them. His attention remained entirely on me. I don't expect an answer today. I don't expect anything. You deserve time. You deserve freedom. If, after today, you decide you never wish to see me again, I'll respect that as well. Every word sounded sincere. No conditions. No pressure. No guilt. Just respect. The comments flooded my vision once more. Compare this to the twins. Notice the difference. I did. For years. Ethan and Logan had always decided what was best for me. Nathan simply asked what I wanted. That difference suddenly felt enormous. But before anyone could speak again, a sharp voice echoed across the ballroom. He's lying. Everyone turned. Chloe stepped forward. Her sweet smile had disappeared completely. You've manipulated Ava. Nathan didn't even look at her. I haven't. You've been waiting for this. I have. The honesty caught everyone off guard. I waited. But I never asked for it. Chloe's confidence cracked. You expect us to believe that? She looked desperately toward Ethan. Say something. Ethan remained silent. She turned to Logan. You know this isn't right. Logan didn't answer either. Instead, both brothers were staring at me. Not Nathan. Me. Almost as if they were seeing me for the first time. Another glowing comment floated across my vision. Uh-oh. The original timeline just broke. Another appeared. Something's changing. The twins weren't supposed to lose her. Logan suddenly stepped forward. Ava. His voice had lost its anger. If I told you not to do this, would you listen? I looked at him quietly. Would you have listened if I begged you not to love someone else? His face went completely pale. What? What are you talking about? I smiled sadly. I know about Chloe. The room froze. Every eye turned toward Chloe. She instinctively took one step backward. Ethan's calm expression finally shattered. Ava. Who told you that? I didn't answer. Instead, I asked a simple question. Ethan. Where were you last Thursday night? His breathing stopped. No answer. I turned toward Logan. And where were you on Saturday? His eyes widened. Neither brother spoke. The silence itself became an admission. The floating comments practically covered my entire vision. It's over. They've been caught. Now the real story begins. Silence spoke louder than any excuse ever could. Ethan didn't answer. Neither did Logan. The expressions on their faces were enough. Eleanor Carter slowly rose from her chair. Her hands trembled. Is it true? She looked from one son to the other. You both are in love with Chloe? Neither of them spoke. Their silence shattered the last piece of hope she had been holding on to. Ethan. Logan. Were you really prepared to marry Ava? While your hearts belonged to someone else? Ethan closed his eyes. Mother. It's more complicated than that. No. Eleanor slowly shook her head. It isn't. You either love someone, or you don't. Everything else is just an excuse. The glowing comments drifted across my vision again. She finally understands. A promise should never become a prison. Logan stepped forward. Ava. We never wanted to hurt you. I smiled sadly. But you did. We thought. He stopped. For the first time in his life, Logan Carter couldn't find the right words. Ethan took a slow breath. I believed. 6 months later. The headlines looked very different. Carter Technologies announces new board structure. Ava Morgan establishes foundation for children of hospitality workers. Nathan Sterling invests $200 million into education initiative. For the first time in years. None of the news was about my engagement. Or who I was expected to marry. The arrangement my mother and Eleanor had made decades ago had officially become history. Not erased. Simply completed. Eleanor kept her promise in the only way that truly mattered. She gave me my freedom. Instead of becoming someone's wife because of an old promise, I built something of my own. The Grace Morgan Foundation, named after my mother, provided scholarships for the children of cooks, cleaners, drivers, and housekeepers, people whose sacrifices often went unnoticed. Every decision was mine. Every success was mine. Every mistake was mine. For the first time, I was living a life that belonged entirely to me. Nathan never rushed me. He never asked when we would marry. He never hinted about moving in together. Instead, he showed up whenever I needed him. Sometimes with coffee. Sometimes with quiet advice. Sometimes with nothing more than a smile. One evening, after a charity gala in San Francisco, we stood on the balcony overlooking the bay. The city lights shimmered across the water. Nathan looked at me. Can I ask you something? I smiled. You already know I'll answer honestly. He nodded. Back at the mansion. When you chose me. Were you trying to escape them? I thought about it for a long moment. Then I shook my head. At first. Maybe. I looked at the Golden Gate Bridge glowing against the night sky. But that's not why I keep choosing you. Nathan stayed silent. I choose you now. Because you never asked me to become someone else. His eyes softened. And because you were the first person who loved my freedom. More than the idea of having me. For a moment neither of us spoke. Then he reached into his jacket pocket. Not for a ring. Just for my hand. Wherever life takes you. I'd like to walk beside you. Not in front. Not behind. Beside you. I laughed softly. I'd like that too. Across the internet, the floating comments appeared one final time. She was never meant to survive this story. She wasn't supposed to rewrite the ending. The side character became the heroine. The man who never tried to own her became the one she chose. This is what a happy ending actually looks like. The glowing words slowly faded into the night. This time, they didn't tell me what my future would be. Because there was no script anymore. No predetermined ending. No role waiting for me to play. Only choices. My own choices. I looked at Nathan and smiled. Ready to go home? He smiled back. Wherever you're going. That's home. Together, we walked into a future that belonged to no one else. A future we would write ourselves. That after we married, I would eventually learn to love you. A bitter laugh escaped me. Learn? I'm not a business merger. I'm not a responsibility. And I'm certainly not someone you practice loving. No one in the ballroom moved. Even Chloe stood frozen. The sweet smile she had perfected over the years was gone. She finally understood. Her carefully built fantasy was collapsing right in front of everyone. Nathan stepped forward. His voice remained calm. That's enough. He looked directly at the twins. If either of you truly regrets what happened, then stop asking Ava to carry the weight of your guilt. She doesn't owe you forgiveness. No one argued. Because he was right. Eleanor wiped away her tears. Then she straightened her shoulders. The powerful CEO of Carter Technologies had returned. Effective immediately. The engagement arrangement is permanently cancelled. Her voice echoed through the ballroom. Ava will never again be treated as part of a family agreement. She turned toward me. My dear. I'm so sorry. I truly believed I was honoring the promise I made to your mother. But instead, I turned that promise into a cage. Tears filled my eyes. For the first time, I saw genuine regret in hers. She gently embraced me. From today forward, you will live your own life. Not the life we planned for you. I nodded. Thank you. After a long moment, Eleanor faced the board members. As chairwoman of Carter Technologies, I officially dissolved the inheritance condition attached to Ava's shares. The room erupted with shocked whispers. The shares placed in Ava's trust will remain entirely hers, regardless of who she chooses to marry. Several investors immediately exchanged anxious looks. The decision would change the future of the company forever. But Eleanor never hesitated. My promise to her mother was to protect Ava. Not to use her as a bargaining chip. The glowing comments returned once more. She's finally free. Not a prize. Not an obligation. Just Ava. Nathan quietly reached for my hand. He didn't pull me closer. He didn't tighten his grip. He simply offered it, leaving the decision entirely mine. I looked at his hand, then smiled, and placed mine in his. A warm silence settled between us. Logan lowered his head. We lost you. His voice barely rose above a whisper. Long before today. Ethan gave a slow, painful nod. We just didn't realize it. They had finally understood. They hadn't lost a future bride. They had lost the one person who loved them before money, power, and inheritance ever mattered. And some losses could never be repaired. As the guests slowly began leaving the ballroom, the setting California sun poured through the massive glass windows, painting the Pacific Ocean in shades of gold. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about destiny. I wasn't thinking about promises. I wasn't thinking about the life someone else had chosen for me. I was thinking about tomorrow. A tomorrow that finally belonged to me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more original, emotional, mysterious, and heartwarming stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Please leave a like and let me know in the comments. What would you do if you discovered a ghost who cooked better than any chef and became your best friend? Your support helps this channel grow and inspires us to create even more amazing stories for you. See you in the next story.